This is To the Point with Michael Williams.
Good morning. COVID safety, our schools, and a debate stretching from homes to the schoolhouse to the governor's office and now the courts. My guest today, Palm Beach County Public Schools Superintendent Mike Burke, formerly the Chief Financial Officer for the district, now in the top job after Donald Fenoy's resignation. And sir, we appreciate you taking time to be with us and our audience.
My pleasure.
We know that you speak for Palm Beach County, certainly our audience across 5 counties. Many of the areas you'll touch on will at least resonate, if not in terms of specific policy. And we want to begin with the ruling from a judge in Tallahassee, a circuit judge, the DeSantis school mask mandate, unlawful, Florida judge says. The governor said he was going to penalize districts, including yours, who had said at first mask would be optional. Then you said, no, we're seeing a COVID spread. There would be no option. Masks were to be mandated. The governor was threatening penalties. Now a judge has ruled against him. He's vowing to appeal. But your initial first blush reaction to the ruling?
Well, I was pleased to see it. You know, I think it validates that the governor may have overstepped his authority and that the level of local control that we should enjoy needs to be respected. And our local school board here felt like with the rising cases and seeing children go to the hospital that we needed to step up and just do a full mask requirement.
Mr. Superintendent, I want to read part of a statement that came from the governor's office. Let's see if we can put that up there. It says, it's not surprising that Judge Cooper, the circuit judge in Leon County, Tallahassee, would rule against parents' rights and their ability to make the best educational and medical decisions for their family, but instead rule in favor of elected politicians. Again, that from the DeSantis communications team. We'd note that many a superintendent is appointed, not elected. Right. I'd like to point that out, number one. But number two, your reaction to that statement?
Well, you know, I'm a parent. I respect parents' rights. But when we have a community of students going into confined spaces, you have to kind of respect the rights of everyone in there. And I think the rights have, you know, when your rights get to the point where they're putting someone else in potential danger, then, you know, you have to look at the greater good of the community and do what's right across everyone. So I think there's limitations to the individual right for the collective good of the community.
The governor's office says they will appeal. You'll stand fast, though, unless absolutely ordered by a higher court to reverse your ruling? What happens if the appellate court says we agree with the governor?
So our school board has passed an emergency 90-day policy where masks are required. They've reserved the right to check in periodically should conditions improve. You know, if the positivity rates go way down and we're no longer facing these kind of grave concerns, then they can revisit the requirements. But at this point, they're in place, and we're going to keep them in place until we feel like it would be safe to do otherwise.
So you'll stare, effectively you and other major districts, including Broward and Miami-Dade, Hillsborough, Alachua, stared down the governor, and you'll continue to do so, is what I hear you saying.
Yes, and I have to give credit to my school board. They made the tough decision and did what they felt was best, and I think by and large, the community supports them. Superintendent,
let me talk a little bit more. We'll talk masks. We're also going to talk a lot about academics because that gets lost in the mask debate. We are going to talk about that. But I want to talk a little bit more about masks. Perspective here. We understood, I think there was an early survey done when school started, that about 90+% of parents were sending their school students, their children, to school masked. 6 or 7% were not. I think that perspective's important to note that in the 10th largest public school district in the nation, with what, I think 170,000 full-time students?
Yes, sir.
93% were sending their kids to schools with masks. So we're not seeing an overwhelming opposition to this in our schools.
No,
or am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely correct. We were at 94% compliance with masks when it was voluntary. So we had about 12,000 students had opted out. Relatively small number in the grand scheme of things. And, you know, we're working through that now with the mask requirements.
What do you say to the parents, though, who say, whether I'm in the minority on this or not, I have my voice? What do you say to those if they were sitting here talking to you now? What do you say to teachers, one of whom was told, you got to leave the classroom, you're not wearing a mask, said my freedom of choice being violated? What do you say?
I would appeal to their sense of reason. I would say, look, we wore the mask all last year. You know, the conditions that we're facing now are actually more severe than what we faced last year. And to please, you know, just wear the mask, give us a chance. Let's try to keep our kids in school, in the classroom. We know that's the ideal setting, and we're trying to keep our schools open. So I think it's a small sacrifice to pay for their child's education to allow them to be in person with their teacher, which we know is best for them.
I know it moves day by day, but thus far, what impact has COVID had on students, teachers, and what are the ongoing protocols to try and deal with it? We know in Palm Beach County and at every school district locally, and indeed nationwide, we're seeing COVID numbers pile up, numbers of students quarantined. Where are we as a snapshot right now in terms of what's going on in schools?
Right. So masks get all the attention, but there's actually several mitigating strategies we're using. We've got enhanced cleaning. We have MERV 13 air filters in our HVA systems throughout school campuses. We've added 13,000 portable HEPA air purifier devices to the classrooms. We've got school nurses that are able to test any students who appear to be showing symptoms. And we're doing a lot of hand washing, hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, cleaning up after ourselves. The social distancing, we're not able to do what we did last year because we're at full capacity.
Sure. School buses, what about that?
School buses, we cannot really provide social distancing.
Obviously.
We have a real challenge this year. We started the year short about 100 bus drivers, and we've lost nearly 50 to quarantine or COVID cases. So we are stretched very thin in our transportation department. We've appealed to parents that if they have the ability to drive their kid to school, it would be greatly appreciated. And we are trying to hire drivers, but it is a challenge.
Do you have enough teachers? There'll be some who don't want to follow the mask rule. There'll be others who unfortunately will get sick from COVID. Doesn't mean they'll get it in school, but you're going to continue to have a COVID issue. Schools aren't in a bubble from what's going on in general society. Are you short-staffed on teachers or staff?
We could use a few more teachers, but we're not doing too bad. We've pretty much got adequate coverage with the teachers. Where we're really hurting is with substitute teachers. So the board approved a pay increase. We're trying to attract more substitutes back to the classroom.
Can you keep the classrooms open? And again, I'm asking you for a bit of a crystal ball. Again, acknowledging for our audience, this is not an issue that's unique to Palm Beach County. We're hearing about it in Broward, Miami-Dade, every district in the state and every district in the nation struggling with what you struggle with. But from the Palm Beach County perspective, can you keep the classrooms open with what's going on now with sickness, with Delta variant spreading, with all the issues you've talked about?
We're trying very hard to do that. So far, we've been able to. Last year we got through the entire school year without closing a school. This year is more of a challenge because we're at full capacity. In this Delta variant, the cases are just spreading much quicker. The transmission's great. I can keep schools open as long as I have enough people to work there.
Do you right now, and you talked about a moment ago, but do you have a concern that you may fast be coming to a point where you won't?
No, we're not there yet, but the growth in cases is exponential. We've had over 2,000 cases since we're just finished our third week of school. 2,000 cases. We've sent home over 5,500 students. Now, granted, against 167,000 or so students, that's not a huge number, but it's a concern when you look at the rate, how fast it grew.
Sure.
Just in comparison, the entire last school year, we had about 3,500 cases.
So what about teachers? How many have had to go home?
Not huge numbers, but we've had about
12,000 teachers in the district.
Right. We've had, our employee cases have been in the low couple hundreds.
Let me ask you, when you say not yet, it begs the question, are you ready, if need be, to go back to homeschooling as a backup option? Could that happen seamlessly if it needed to or not?
No, because that's no longer an option.
Right, it's not an option. So you don't have the infrastructure left over to immediately go back to that.
We have the tools, the technology, the know-how, but the governor's executive order that allowed that innovative distance learning expired at the end of last school year.
I promised there's so much we could talk about just COVID related. I want to talk about academics. It gets lost in the COVID debate about what kids went through out of school. I do have one particular question though about school funding. We have, according to data, Palm Beach County School District lost roughly 7,300 students in traditional school districts from its 2019-20 count. According to numbers that our Contact 5 team were looking at, that's prior to the pandemic. Then looking onto the 21-22 count, 7,300 students lost. You had state providing funds to make up for less students, but not this year.
Right.
What's that going to mean for funding?
So that represents a loss of over $50 million each year. When we built the school budgets for this year, we did adjust downward based on the projected enrollment. So we have formulas that are driven by student counts. So we've made some of those adjustments, but we were hoping to see enrollment kind of start bouncing back this year, and so far we're pretty flat.
In plain English, what will it mean for funding, for jobs, for what goes on in the classroom, for staff?
So we have multiple components to our budget. Our operating budget that's really driven by the Florida legislature is lean. We had very flat revenue. We had some rising costs. Pension contributions went up. We have that balanced. We had to use some of our one-time savings from last year of about $20 million to get that budget balanced. So it's not ideal. It's very lean. Like when it comes time to talk about employee salary increases, we really don't have any dollars set aside. On the bright side, At the federal level, they've provided a great deal of ESSER dollars, ESSER 2 and then ESSER 3, which is the American Rescue Plan, and we have over $500 million for the next 3 years in that area.
No layoffs right now anticipated?
No, sir.
Let's talk academics. So many worry nationwide about children behind academically because of at-home learning, despite best efforts, COVID disruptions. What children are most at risk? What's the data you're seeing right now academically?
So we suspected that COVID was going to have a negative impact on learning, and that proved to be true. We had the state testing last spring, and our scores slipped. And now Palm Beach County, we're proud of the work we do. We actually outperformed other districts in the state as a whole, but it's still disturbing when you look at the data. Overall, English language arts scores are down about 4 or 5%, and math is down about 15%. And that's not unique to our county, but that just shows you kind of the damage done by this pivot to distance learning. It's very hard to teach math through a computer.
What resources are you able to apply given tight funding to dealing with this, and what students are most at risk?
Well, we did see, we've always had some divides in achievement, and those disparities have widened. So
what divides?
Well, like some of our lower socioeconomic students typically kind of have lagged behind.
And they don't always have the resources at home, even when we went to distance learning, whether it's computers or that kind of thing. So what do you do to try and make that up now?
Well, last year we did a lot to try to close that divide.
Sure.
We handed out free T-Mobile hotspots. We partnered with Comcast so they could get free Comcast accounts. And the county is helping us with a $10 million project to put Wi-Fi mesh into some of our underserved neighborhoods. So we addressed the technology. We sent home computers with every student. But now going forward and getting everyone back in the classroom, we have to start catching up. And the first part of that is really making sure the kids are okay kind of on a social emotional level. So we've put resources there. Thanks to our referendum, we have a mental behavioral health specialist in every school that's kind of checking in with kids. If they're not feeling right or not feeling safe, we have to address that first. Sure. And then once they're feeling good about being in school, then we can catch up on the academics. And that $500 million I spoke about, that's the key. More than half of that money is going to go to address the academic loss.
And trying to help all children catch up?
Yes, we've already started. We started in the spring with a tutorial program. Our summer program this year was much more robust. We increased the size of it greatly. You're going to see larger summer programs for the next 3 years, and we've added 350 specialized teaching positions to really serve those kids that need it.
You jumped into the hottest of the hot seats. You didn't have to take this job. You're superintendent now. Would you like the job full-time?
Yes, sir. Right. I've worked in the district 23 years. I feel like I've been training for this a long time, and I'm excited to have the opportunity, and the board has entrusted me, and I just want to do a good job for everybody.
Let's leave it with your final top-of-mind thought. That I know you have many, but leave us with whatever's top-of-mind, things that I haven't touched on that you want to leave our viewers with as your final thoughts.
Just a couple reminders that please don't send any of your children to school if they're showing any signs of illness. With this variant of COVID, it's not just the cough or a fever. It can be a runny nose. It's very difficult because it can be so many symptoms. So we're asking parents to please keep their children home if they show any signs of illness. And then I'm just encouraging anyone who's eligible for a vaccine to please take advantage of that.
We'll all get through it together, but we have to get through it together.
I'm looking forward to getting through it. Yes, sir.
Superintendent Mike Burke, Palm Beach County Public School District. I know you have much on your plate. We thank you for taking time for our audience this morning. We'll continue the conversation.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank
you, Mr. Superintendent. The roundtable next, and a look at the showdown pitting school leaders across the state against the governor.